What's up, guys? You're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Willie Isom. In this episode, I want to share with you guys 5 big client wins we've had with our agency. And I'm not only going to tell you the results that we've been able to get for them, but I'm going to share exactly what we did to get those results. Now, we're going to share some results at all ends of the spectrum. So we've got some smaller clients that we'll start with, all the way up to clients that we've helped reach $11 million in sales on Amazon. The first client that I want to share with you guys comes from the home and kitchen niche. Now, they came to us at a time where they weren't selling super great on Amazon and their ACoS was pretty high. Their ACoS, advertising cost of sales, was right around 91% when they were joining our agency, and we were able to slash it down to 50% within 3 months. So that also helped reduce the overall ACoS, the total advertising cost of sales, from 53% down to 19%. All while maintaining the same monthly revenue and optimizing the ad spend. So how are we able to do that for this client? The first thing that we did is that we launched auto campaigns. We launched and refined the different automatic campaigns to gather data on the high performing keywords and ASINs. Then we used those high performing keywords and ASINs to open up and create some other campaigns. The second thing we did is target broad categories, broad keywords, broad ASINs, broad product categories, to cast a wider net and identify again potential high performing keywords. Then we refine the campaigns based on the performance to improve the targeting accuracy using negative targeting and phrase and exact match keywords. Another thing that we did for this client is set up ASIN targeting. We targeted ASINs that were offering complementary products to ours, and we used the PPC and their performance to narrow down on our other targeting types, our other campaign types, based on the findings of these different campaigns. The last thing that we did that made a big difference for this specific client were exact campaigns. Something that we do a lot with our agency clients are single keyword exact match campaigns, where it's a campaign that only has one exact match keyword in it. So again, by using the auto campaigns, the broad targeting campaigns, the ASIN campaigns, we're able to find all these exact match targets that are performing well, and then we can create a single exact match campaign and get really specific on the placements, on the top of search adjustments for those specific campaigns, really fine tune the bid on that specific target and reach profitability and scale up from there. The second client that I want to mention, who happens to be a good friend of mine and a former student of my coaching program, who is a great success story. He came to us after having worked with some other agencies in the past, realizing, he didn't really like that experience, and he figured, he's good enough to do the PPC by himself. So then he switched back, started running PPC on his own, and was actually getting better results than what his other agency had gotten him. But he got to that point where, he wanted to work on other things. Like, he didn't want to spend all of his time fine-tuning his PPC and optimizing, because he knows, and like I know a lot of you guys know, there's so many different things you can do with PPC. There's placement adjustments, there's negative targeting, there's adjusting bids and budgets and new targets and, new videos and new creatives and display. There's all sorts of things you can constantly be tweaking and testing. So the more time and effort and energy you're able to put into your PPC, obviously the better it's going to perform. But let's be real. Not all of us really want to spend the time doing that. And so this friend of mine and a former student, he was getting to that point where he's like, I'm good at PPC, I can do this on my own, but I just don't really want to spend the time doing this. I want to spend the time developing new product lines, starting new brands, spending more time with my family, right? Doing other things and not working, in the business all the time. So some awesome results that we were able to get him in a really short amount of time. Within the first week of joining our agency, we were able to increase his weekly revenue by 50%. So selling around $12,000 a week, we were able to increase that to $18,000. Also, within the first 3 months of working with our agency, we reduced his average total advertising cost of sales, so ACoS on a monthly basis, from around 30% to 25%. So that's making his brand and his products more profitable. We also decreased the ACoS, advertising cost of sales, right? Your PPC, to below the 33% threshold. A lot of you guys know this. A big target that I have personally for my brand and all my campaigns and our students is try to get that ACoS under 30%. Likely, if your profit margin is sitting around 30% and you can get your ACoS under 30%, you're going to get to a point of profitability with your advertising where, that's when you can really start to make some profit with your brand when you start to, again, supplement it with all those organic sales. So we were able to get his ACoS down below 33%, which it was hovering around 40%, while increasing revenue, again, from that $12,000 to around $18,000 a week. We skyrocketed his organic sales ratio. So when you think about your organic to PPC sales ratio, that is how many of your sales are organic sales, which is the best profit, how many of your sales are PPC sales. Before joining our agency, his organic sales were around 20%. 20% of his sales were organic, 80% were coming from ads. We were able to raise that to 40%, which means he was getting better organic ranking, better organic sales. We also helped him get the Amazon's Choice badge within the first month of working with us, and we increased keyword rankings for relevant search terms from around 1,026 ranking to 1,142 ranking in March. We also helped him add around another 100 keywords to relevant ranking on Amazon within the first month. So let me share with you how our team was able to help this client achieve these results. In the first month and in the first week, really, we did a comprehensive account audit. So we did listing audits, PPC audits, and price analysis. What we found was that the listings were lacking highly relevant, high volume keywords for ranking and driving qualified traffic. They were also missing keyword placement in the product listings that needed to be implemented in order to rank for those specific keywords. A lot of the PPC campaigns were already doing pretty well. Like we mentioned, ACoS was 40%. They were getting good sales, but there was some slight tweaks and adjustments that needed to be made and some restructuring, again, for optimal performance. There was also a lack of proper budget distribution. This is a very common mistake we'll talk more about with some other clients, where a lot of the budget is being spent on campaigns that are not performing as well. So what we really try to focus on is making sure the best performing campaigns are getting the most ad spend. And if there's other campaigns that are not providing as good a results, we do not want to spend as much budget there. Distributing the budget properly makes a big difference as well. And then also with the ad placements. So making adjustments in the campaigns for ad placements, top of search, rest of search, product pages, that can really help improve the performance. And that really helped reduce the ACoS for this client. So with those listing gaps that we found with the keywords, we do comprehensive keyword research to figure out what those keywords are that are missing from the listing that have a good chance to convert well in PPC and have a good chance to rank organically. Like we said, we were able to add 100 keywords to start ranking on Amazon, which led to that boost in organic sales from 20% up to 40%, which in turn helps lower the TACoS, lower the ACoS, and improve overall profitability and increase revenue. We also set up a lot of separate exact match keyword campaigns for a lot of these missing keywords to make sure that not only are they in the listings, but we're running advertising dollars to those specific long tail keywords to increase revenue, to get even more sales and do it profitably. So again, we can increase revenue, but at the same time, improve profitability. Sometimes, guys, it's the simple things like this that make a huge difference. Now, the cool thing with this client is they were already doing really well. They were selling over $100,000 a month in Q4 of 2023, and they had high expectations, for 2024, even though the demand starts to dip at the new year for their specific products. We were able to reach some new records in monthly sales for them. And again, lower TACoS, lower ACoS, increase revenue during these slower sales months, increase organic sales, which is the big one that's going to help with profitability. And it's all by doing a lot of these little minor tweaks. A lot of minor tweaks, guys, really add up. So like I said, for this client, he didn't want to spend all of his time making all these little minor tweaks. He had a lot of campaigns running, a lot of good campaigns set up, but it's going in, tweaking the bids, tweaking the negative keywords, tweaking the keywords, adding different keywords, tweaking the placement adjustments, all those things. Those minor changes really stack up. And so that's what really stacked up over time to help improve the results for this client. Okay, 3 more clients that I just wanted to share with you guys really quickly here. We're getting bigger and bigger here in kind of the revenue numbers. This was an interesting one though, kind of also related to Q4. So this is a product and a brand that sells really well in Q4. So in December, they sold 2,243 units. Okay, let's call it 2,200 units. However, in January, their sales decreased to 1,729. Okay, so December 2,200, January 1,700. So that's a decrease of around, let's call it 500 units. But this is pretty normal. Like we see this with a lot of people. Post-holiday, December sales are really good, Christmas time, then January hits and your sales tank. So this is not uncommon to see. However, we were able to provide some really awesome results for this client in February compared to January when they joined with our team. So to go back to December, January. In December, their organic sales were around 56%. So half of their sales were coming organically. However, that dropped pretty drastically in January to 37%, from 56 down to 37. Tacos, total advertising cost of sales, increased from around 7% in December to 11% in January. So that's not good. We want tacos to be low, right? So tacos is increasing, organic sales is dropping in January. And again, most of the time people see this and they're like, oh yeah, this is common. It's January. People are not shopping online. However, in February, we were able to increase sales from 1,729 units, which is how many units they sold in January. February, they sold 3,169 units. That's an increase, guys, of 1,440 units. So almost doubling their sales from January to February, even in a slower buying period post the Q4 holiday shopping season. The ACoS, advertising cost of sales in January, was right around 20% ACoS. By February, we had decreased it down to around 14%. So that's around a 6% reduction of ACoS due to some strategic ad spend and things I'll talk about here in just a second. In February, like I mentioned, they sold 3,169 units. In March, so the next month, they sold 3,669 units. And they had a record-breaking single-day sales high of 250 units. And this is in March. Usually, guys, those like single-day high sales are like on Prime Day or Black Friday or, 2 days before Christmas. But they were able to reach that record sales day in March during a slower selling period for their specific products. Okay, let's talk about how are we able to do this for this specific client. The first step, guys, was a full listing optimization. This is something that we take a lot of pride in with our agency, is not just being like, oh, we'll run your PPC and spend your money, but we want to help you guys actually improve your overall business. We want to help you improve your sourcing, your inventory, your listing, your photo, new branding for clients. And so we start with the full listing optimization. We fine tune their listing with mid-tail and long-tail keywords. So these are keywords that are like more than one word. The focus here though, guys, was really dialing in on one root keyword. And then we aimed for all of the relevant sub keywords or long tail, mid tail keywords to strengthen our visibility and ranking around the root keyword. So a mistake, and it's not necessarily a mistake, but something that a lot of people do is they'll try to be good at everything. So like their keywords, like their specific product might have a whole bunch of different types of keywords. Like you see with like dog bandanas, right? People call them dog bandanas, people call them dog scarves, they call them, I don't know, whatever else. And so people will be like, oh, I'm gonna add all the different random things that people might call my product. But that just gets confusing. So instead, we look for the best opportunity for the root keyword, whether it's bandanas or scarves, and then go all in to be the best of the best and achieve the best ranking on those keywords related to the root keyword. So that's what we did for this specific client. This brand specifically, right, this product listing established a very strong presence on a profitable root keyword and those sub keywords. Again, we're looking for where's the demand, where's the competition, where's the opportunity for bidding on PPC, which root keyword and sub keywords are going to give us the best bang for our buck. We also found in the research and targeted with our PPC campaigns, keywords having low title density and competition, but keywords that were able to gain high reviews on the listing with low pricing. Something else that we were able to do for this client is we ran auto campaigns to generate profitable search terms. So we run auto campaigns. It's kind of like farming keywords, figure out, okay, what keywords convert. And then we focus on targeting broad match keywords and ASIN targeting based on the findings from our auto campaign. And then from those findings, we use exact match keywords, again, like those single keyword exact match campaigns, to maintain the ACoS in the 13 to 16%. So this is kind of a strategy. It's a long-term strategy, but it can work a lot quicker than you might think. Like we showed with this client, just in the matter of 2 months from from February and March is by casting that big net. Like if we talk about fishing, I've talked about this with my students. You cast the big net in the ocean and you figure out where are the fish. And then when you cast your net and you figure out, oh, all the fish are chilling over here, then you go over there and you fish the crap out of that little spot. So that's what we're doing with our auto campaigns, our category, our ASIN, our broad match, casting a big net, finding, you got to go get in the search term report. Like a lot of people just don't do this. They just set up the campaigns and then never look at them, but go find where are the fish biting and then go cast a ton of fishing poles or lines or nets where all the fish are biting. And that's really how you scale and optimize. Another big one that we did for this specific client is we refined their video campaigns. Guys, I'm all in on video for our brand, for our clients' brands. Video, guys, is the way video is crushing on Amazon. We refined some video campaigns and we targeted exact match keywords with their video campaigns, and we're able to get 16% ACoS with some really good spend and high conversions, high units sold on those campaigns. And then of course we used placement data to find the most profitable placements for each campaign, whether it's top of search, rest of search, product pages, but taking the time to look at the data and make those tweaks and adjustments. Guys, just by doing that within a month or two, again, able to increase those sales when, you know, you think, oh, it's January, it's February, it's March, like sales are going to be down. It is what it is. You can surprise yourself. Even with our previous client, where most of their sales come in December and January at the turn of the new year, we've been hitting some really, really good sales months, $60,000, $70,000 months in the middle of the summertime, when last year in the summertime, they're selling $20,000, $30,000 months. And we haven't added any more products. No new products, same products offerings, but you know, we're able to dramatically improve sales during those same summer months just by having a better comprehensive strategy in SEO. Okay, two more for you guys. Sorry, I don't want to get too long-winded here, but now we're getting to the big boys. So these are some big clients that I've talked about on sales calls and with other people, you know, who we've talked to about our agency services. These are people ask me, I guess, or they say, you know, how many SKUs can you guys handle? Like, how big? Do you only work with like little teeny brands, or do you work with big brands? This is a huge brand, guys, that was selling $500,000 a month, and we were able to increase their sales to $900,000 a month in 30 days. So we took them from 500 one month to 900K in the next month. Now, this is a big time brand in the fashion niche. So fashion, apparel, you guys know, super competitive niche, low margins, higher return rates, but this is a niche that we love. You guys have heard me talk about this on the podcast. We really love apparel. We see a ton of potential in apparel. A lot of other agencies are really scared of apparel, but we love the potential for apparel on Amazon and for brands to really crush it moving forward. So some numbers for you guys in the first 30 days, increased their revenue from $537,000 to $906,000. We doubled their ad budget from $60,000 to $120,000. So obviously that helped contribute to the increase in sales, doubling their ad spend. But with doubling ad spend and almost doubling sales, almost hitting $1 million in 1 month, we improved/lowered their ACoS from 27% to 23%. Lowered the ACoS while still being able to double ad spend and almost double revenue. Pretty crazy. Like, let me just throw out a disclaimer here, because I don't want people to listen to this episode and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to double my sales and lower my ACoS in 30 days. No. This is just me sharing some results of what's possible. Guys, everyone's different. Some brands take a week, some brands take a month. And here's the other thing. We're taking a quick pause because I do need to mention this. We are here to help you guys improve your brand across the board. Again, like, something that we really focus on with our clients is finding where all the holes are in their bucket. I'm getting back to an Alex Hormozi podcast. I mentioned this Alex Hormozi on the previous podcast episode, but Alex Hormozi talks a lot about, you have a leaky bucket. You have a bucket with a whole bunch of holes in it. So when you pour a bunch of water in it, it all just leaks out through all your little holes. It's the same thing on Amazon. When we onboard a new client, when we do an audit, or when, you know, we start working with them, here's the thing. When we do a little initial audit of your brand and we say, oh, we see there's potential, we could increase your revenue by $20,000 a month, or whatever we say from viewing your audit. That's us looking at, you know, your brand from an outsider's perspective, looking in, analyzing some numbers, whatnot, and we find some leaky holes that we're like, okay, we found some holes in your bucket, we need to fix. Inevitably, once you get in there, you always find more holes. It's almost impossible to find all the leaky holes like in 3 days, right? In a brand audit, we can see leaky holes. We can see potential for your brand by doing a brand audit, which we can do for you for free, by the way. If you're interested in this, hit me up. We can do a free brand audit for you guys and highlight some some of those leaky holes. But again, when you get in there, when you start the project, you almost always find more holes in the bucket. So for some clients, guys, we see some leaky holes and we get in there and we're like, oh, those are the only leaky holes. We're good. Let's scale. Let's grow. But for other people, we get in there and we're like, ooh, you've got some more leaky holes that we didn't know about or we just discovered, or we run some tests, we run ads. This is why we love to do a 3-month contract with new clients, is to show people like, look, Rome wasn't built in a day and we're not going to find all your leaky holes in 3 days. So let us run some ads, let us do some spend, let us optimize and test and measure results and see, are there more leaky holes that we need to fix? There may be sourcing that you need to fix. There may be offers, photos, branding, content, all sorts of things that you need to fix. That's going to take more than a month. So again, don't be too googly eyed by like, oh, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. These are just some crazy, cool, awesome results that we can get and have gotten for people, but know that there's other results that take more time. But we are here to help you find and fix all your leaky holes. It may take a month, may take 3, may take 6, but if you're willing to put in the work and commit to it, we are willing to commit and work to help you fix all your leaky holes. So back to this specific client that we increased sales from 500,000 to 900,000. ACoS drops from 27 to 23. How did we do this? So we found a ton of gaps in this specific brand, even despite the fact that they're doing really well. Now, they already have 1,500 SKUs on Amazon. So again, when you say like, Andy, how many SKUs can you guys handle? The last client I'll talk about, number 5 here in the episode, they have over 3,000 SKUs on Amazon. But this specific client has 1,500. We can handle that. Because here's the thing, guys. A lot of people are like, well, Andy, I have 300 SKUs. You can't possibly run all these campaigns on all these SKUs. No, we can't, and we don't. But that's what you have to realize. You don't necessarily have to run ads on every single SKU. There's a lot of deep strategies that involve advertising for very specific SKUs that can drive sales to your other SKUs as well. So we can handle any amount of SKUs that you have. So this apparel brand, high sales, tons of SKUs. First thing that we did, guys, the comprehensive audit. So when we get in there into your account, we spend the first week, sometimes 2, depending on how big your account is, if you have 1,500 SKUs, and we look for all the holes in your leaky bucket. Okay, so we found a lot of high ACoS campaigns with this specific client. So they had tons of campaigns, hundreds of campaigns running. We found a ton of high ACoS ones. Low sales, but these were inflating the overall ACoS. So the overall ACoS of the account wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. But it's all because a lot of these high ACoS campaigns are inflating that average. So we attacked those. We also saw a significant lack of placement optimization, which again, a lot of people overlook and don't do. So that's the top of search, rest of search, product pages optimizations. We didn't see any optimizations on hardly any campaigns. So that's an easy win on a lot of those campaigns. We also saw a ton of campaigns that were all targeting the same keywords. So there's 2 campaigns competing each other for rank, visibility. Some are getting clicks here, some are getting clicks there, but it's really hard to know how to optimize if you're duplicating keywords and targeting across multiple campaigns. They also had no sponsored brand and sponsored display campaigns. We've seen some really, really good results for clients with sponsored brand and sponsored display campaigns, but there's massive opportunity because not a lot of advertisers, especially the Chinese brands, spend a lot of time and energy on sponsored brand and sponsored display campaigns. We also found keywords targeted through the PPC campaigns that were not in the product listings. This is a huge mistake that a lot of people make because it just takes time. It takes time to like go run ads, target keywords, figure out what converts, then you got to go update your listings with those keywords or do keyword research, find keywords, put them in your listings, target them PPC. Like there's a lot of back and forth there. But when you have the balance of keywords in your listings and the same keywords in your campaigns, that's what really drives the Amazon algorithm, and that's what they really like to see. And so by simply doing that, we're able to get some really good results. We also found that they were not really doing any negative targeting. So with their auto campaigns, their broad and phrase campaigns, spending lots of money in the search term report on keywords, on ASINs and things that are not really getting results. So by chipping away, adding those negative targets, you're really focusing on the high yield keywords and ASINs with the good ACoS. So a few other things that we did specifically with this client, again, it's a big client, big project. They've been a long client, but we did a lot of back end optimization for them. So not only on the front end, like a front end of a product listing is like what you see if you find it on Amazon. The back end is like all the info when you're creating the product listing, but the front end customers never see this. So back end search terms, that was something that we went optimized for a lot of the listings for this specific client. We used the full 500 characters. So a lot of the original Amazon limit was 250 characters on a lot of back end search terms, but they made an update. So we went and added more back end search terms to use the 500 character limit. Something else we did for them, which is a little bit more advanced, and we don't do it for every specific client, but we establish product-based portfolios. So within Amazon PPC, you can create portfolios where you can group and organize the campaigns in a more meaningful way. So the brand has 1,500 SKUs. So by creating these product-based portfolios and applying budget caps at the portfolio level, we were able to kind of measure performance based on portfolio performance instead of just specific campaign and product performance. Again, this is kind of a strategy for brands and companies that have hundreds of SKUs. I have a lot of notes here about this specific brand, but for the sake of this podcast episode not being crazy long, we're going to skip over some of these notes here. We already talked about eliminating duplicated keywords, placement optimization, negative targeting. Some great results for this specific client. This is a really awesome client of ours, long-term client, doing around $6 million a year. Okay, last one. I know we're already at like that 30-minute mark with this podcast episode, but let's wrap it up with this one right here. So this is a long-term client that's been working with our team, and to share some awesome growth metrics from this client. Back in 2021, this brand did $1.8 million in a year, which is pretty dang good, right? Probably making decent income off that. In 2022, the team helped them increase to 3.4 million. So 1.8 to 3.4, that's what, almost double. Then in 2023, we tripled their revenue. This is last year. We tripled their revenue from 3.4 to $11 million. Huge increase. So a big win in 2023 was that we very much increased our PPC revenue. So in 2022, they were only getting around $1 million of revenue from PPC. So 1 million out of the 3.4 was coming from PPC, but we were able to increase that in 2023 to 6.7 million. So that was a big reason why they made that jump from 3.4 to 11 is we took them from 1 million in PPC revenue to 6.7 million in PPC revenue. Here's the crazy thing about that though. Normally it's like, okay, if you're going to spend that much on ads and get that much ad revenue, there's no way you can keep the ACoS where it is. Likely your ACoS is going up. However, even with the crazy increase in PPC revenue, we lowered the ACoS from 20% to 17% from 2022 to 2023. That is pretty crazy. Like those are pretty crazy to have that much growth and still have wiggle room to lower the ACoS, albeit 3%, but still to go from 1 million to almost 7 million in PPC sales and lower ACoS. Huge shout out to the team for being able to do that. That is an incredible accomplishment. Let's talk about some things that we did for this client specifically. Again, 3,000 SKUs. A lot of SKUs to target and set up. So big comprehensive audit looking at where the most opportunities are, where's room to scale and whatnot. But we established all the different advertising campaign types for all those high potential SKUs. So sponsor product, sponsor brand, and sponsor display ads. We also established those brand-based portfolios. So specific portfolios based on product types, based on brand. This specific client has multiple brands within their portfolio. So it's one account, but they have some multiple brands in this space. And so we created brand portfolios, product-based portfolios to be able to, again, kind of optimize at the portfolio level, which makes it easier when you have 3,000 SKUs. Comprehensive keyword research, that's the big one, right? I mean, a lot of these, there's a lot of overlap, right? Because that's really the name of the game of pay-per-click advertising is keyword research, high volume keywords, targeting those with PPC campaigns and, optimizing listings for SEO for those specific keywords. We also, for this specific client, do frequent bid and placement optimization. So on a consistent basis, we're tweaking bids, raising bids, lowering bids, and actively optimizing the placement adjustments. Things change over the time. So, depending on the time of year, depending on the seasonality, top of search might be doing good. It might be rest of search. So not just thinking like, oh, that's just the best way it's going to be forever, but making consistent adjustments to those, optimizing the budgets. And then another thing that we did is help this specific client add more products. So continue to add more products to their catalog, to their portfolios to help them grow as well. So that was another part of their growth was them being able to continually release new products, but having a huge jump from 3.4 million to 11 million in 1 year when they were at, 1.8, 3.4, 11. Pretty awesome. Great clients. Guys, again, I know, sorry, long podcast episode here, but if you guys are interested in working with us, working with our agency, we're happy to do a free audit and see even if it would be a good fit. We've turned people away. We've said no. If we don't see potential, if we don't see a good fit, we'll tell you, we'll be honest. But if we do, we'll even give you some recommendations on, hey, here's some holes in your bucket we see. Here's how we would help you fix them. So if you want us to do a free audit of your account, again, it doesn't matter if you're brand new or if you have 3,000 SKUs, anywhere in between. We're open to any clients still at this point. I don't know how long that will be the case, but you can find more information on our website, andyisom.com. Link is in the description, or on my agency website, Weavos, WEAVOS, weavos.io. You can find information about our services there and find an area to fill out a little application for an audit. So guys, once again, I'm Andy. You're listening to Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. We'll see you in the next episode.